All right, we're live right now. Shalom, Facebook. Shalom, all of our brothers and sisters out there. I'm going to be getting our cloud. There we go. Our cloud recording is now going. Shalom, everyone of all of our brothers and sisters in Yahuwah Almighty and Yahushua Messiah out there. We are the Awakened by Yahuwah Assembly and Yahuwah Almighty and Yahushua Messiah. Today, as usual, we're going to be doing our half Torah readings. So I'll be starting us off in Numbers chapter 8 all the way to chapter 12. As usual, I'll be reading the Septuagint with the Aramaic Targum of Onkelos paralleled with one another. So I like to do parallels when I study Yahuwah's word. It kind of shows me if there's any differences here or there. So and just for anyone that doesn't know, the Aramaic Targums were basically paraphrase Aramaic manuscripts translated from Paleo-Hebrew, a Paleo-Hebrew Torah that we don't have today. So they're kind of similar to the Septuagint, but they're a little bit paraphrased. So you're going to see like more of a, rather than a word for word, on the other side of the parallel, you'll kind of see a paraphrase, more of like a definite. And anyone that doesn't have themselves muted, I would just request to have yourselves muted only because I'm going to be reading. So thank you very much. Okay. Right. So here we go. Numbers chapter 8. And let me just fix this. Take it off of the TS 2009. Onkelos. Here we go. This is the word software. It's very similar to eSword. All right, so let's see here. So, and Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to Aharon, and you shall say to him, whenever you shall set the lamps in order. So this is talking about the menorah here. The 7 lamps shall give light opposite the candlestick. And Aaron did so. And on one side, opposite the candlestick, he lighted his lamps as Yahuwah appointed Moshe. And this, the construction of the candlestick, solid gold, its stem and its lilies, all solid according to the pattern which Yahuwah showed Moshe, so he made the candlestick. Okay. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, take the Levites out of the midst of the children of Yasharal, and you shall purify them. So now he's getting the Levites ready for their priesthood here. Verse 7, thus you shall perform their purification. You shall sprinkle them with the water of purification. And this is, I guess, contradictory to what Judaism believes about you can't cut your hair. And a razor shall come upon their whole body, and they shall wash their garments and shall be clean. So there's multiple occurrences that that in Torah even cutting your hair is allowed. So like I've said time and time before, really pray for discernment when you're reading isolated verses like Leviticus 19:27, and I always say take the whole counsel of the Torah. Don't take one isolated verse without getting the context. Okay, so we see here that's even lawful for the Levites, and they're actually commanded to shave all the hair off their body. Okay, they shall take 1 calf of the herd, its grain offering, fine flour mingled with oil. And you shall take a calf of a year old for a sin offering. You shall bring the Levites before the tabernacle witness, and you shall assemble all the congregation of the sons of Yasharal. You shall bring the Levites before Yahuwah, and the sons of Yasharal shall lay their hands upon the Levites. And Aaron shall separate the Levites for a gift before Yahuwah from the children of Yasharal. They shall be prepared to perform the works of Yahuwah. And the Levites shall lay their hands on the heads of the calves. You shall offer one for a sin offering, the other for a whole burnt offering to Yahuwah, and make atonement for them. Okay. And you shall set the Levites before Yahuwah and before Aaron and before his sons, and you shall give them as a gift before Yahuwah. And you shall separate the Levites from the midst of the sons of Yasharal. They shall be mine. And afterwards the Levites shall go in to perform the works of the tabernacle of witness, and you shall purify them and present them before Yahuwah. Okay. For these are given to me for a present out of the midst of the children of Yasharal. I have taken them to myself instead of all the firstborn of the sons of Yasharal that open every womb. For every firstborn among the children of Yasharal is mine. Whether man or beast, in the day in which I smote every firstborn in the land of Egypt, I set them apart to myself. And I took the Levites in place of every firstborn among the children of Yasharal, and I gave the Levites presented as a gift to Aaron and his sons out of the midst of the children of Yasharal to do service of the children of Yasharal in the tabernacle of witness and to make atonement for the children of Yasharal. Thus there shall be none among the sons of Yasharal to draw near to the set apart things. And Moshe and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Yasharal did to the Levites as Yahuwah commanded Moshe concerning the Levites. So the sons of Yasharal did to them. So the Levites purified themselves, washed their garments, and Aaron presented them as a gift before Yahuwah, and Aaron made atonement for them to purify them. And afterwards the Levites went to minister in their service in the tabernacle of witness before Aaron and before his sons, as Yahuwah appointed Moshe concerning the Levites, so they did to them. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, This is the ordinance for the Levites. From 5 to 20 years old and upward, they shall go in to minister in the tabernacle of witness. And from 50 years old shall the Levites cease from the ministry and shall not work any longer. And his brothers shall serve in the tabernacle witness to keep charges, but he shall not do work. So shall you do to the Levites in their charges. So the Levites got a pretty cool retirement plan there.
Yeah, I'm saying, where'd we get 65 from?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they did a lot though. For only 45 years though, they did a lot. They actually they had to operate pretty much the whole Levitical system by themselves. They're even on the Sabbath, Mom, they're working, doing sacrifices.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I know.
you know, it's not like a regular job. It's
I know, I was only teasing.
I know, Mom, I know. I'm not getting bent out of shape. Just relax there. All right. Okay, here we go. Chapter 9, Numbers 9. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe in the wilderness of Sinai in the second year after they had gone forth from the land of Egypt in the first month, saying, Speak and let the children of Yasharal keep the Passover in its season. On the 14th day of the first month at evening, you shall keep in its season. You shall keep it according to its law, according to its ordinance. And Moshe ordered the children of Yasharal to sacrifice the Passover on the 14th day of the first month in the wilderness of Sinai, as Yahuwah appointed Moshe, so the children of Yasharal did. There came men who were unclean by reason of a dead body. So it's telling you what type of uncleanness. It's not a general ceremonial uncleanness. It gives you like the specific type here. And they were not able to keep the Passover on that day, and they came before Moshe and Aharon on that day. And those men said to Moshe, We are unclean by reason of the dead body of a man. Shall we therefore fail to offer the gift to Yahuwah in his season in the midst of the children of Yasharal? And Moshe said to them, Stand there, and I will hear what the charge Yahuwah will give concerning you. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Yasharal, saying, Whatever man shall be unclean by reason of a dead body, or on a journey far off among you, or among your posterity, he shall then keep the Passover to Yahuwah. Now, it says a journey afar off among you. Okay, so obviously later on, when they get into the land, in the land of Canaan, it would be that they're far away from the set apart land. I think we can all agree that's the context. Okay. So I don't think we can spiritualize that today in captivity as, oh, I'm on vacation, so I have to take it next month. Just saying. So I think it's important not to spiritualize something like that. Anyway, all right, moving on. Verse 11 here. In the second month, on the 14th day in the evening, they shall offer it. Evening is like an allegory for sunset in scripture. Okay, so it's talking about towards sunset or at sunset, they shall offer the Passover with unleavened bread. And it should actually say unleavened bread in bitterness and in bitterness. Herbs is actually not there in the Greek or the Hebrew. And after I read the whole chapter, I'll go into the Strong's Concordance that I have for the Septuagint and Masoretic text. They both agree that herbs was added in by a translator. So this idea of herbs being commanded to eat with the Passover is not really there in the original languages. Hence why non-kalos here has it in parentheses. So it's not actually there in the text. All right. Anyway, they shall not leave of it until the morrow, and they shall not break a bone of it. They shall sacrifice according to the ordinance of the Passover. And whatsoever a man shall be clean and is not far on a journey shall fail to keep the Passover, that soul shall be cut off from his people, because he has not offered the gift to Yahuwah in its season. That man shall bear his lawlessness. And there should come to you a stranger in your land, and should keep the Passover to Yahuwah. He shall keep it according to the law of the Passover and according to his ordinance. There shall be one law for you, both for the stranger and for the both for the stranger and the native of the land. Okay. And the day in which the tabernacle was pitched, the cloud covered the tabernacle, the place of the testimony or the witness, and in the evening there was upon the tabernacle as the appearance of fire till morning. So it was continually, the fire covered it by day, and the appearance of fire by night. And when the cloud went up from the tabernacle, then after that the children of Yashar'al departed, and in whatever place the cloud rested, there the children of Yashar'al encamped. Okay. The children of Yashar'al shall encamp by the command of Yahuwah, and by the command of Yahuwah they shall remove it. All the days in which the cloud overshadows the tabernacle, the children of Yashar'al shall encamp. Okay. And whenever the cloud shall be drawn over the tabernacle for many days, the children of Yashar'al shall keep the charge of Alua, and they shall not remove. Okay. And we see the Kalos here hinting at Yahusha here in verse 19. It says the sons of Yashar'al kept the watch of the word of Yahuwah. Okay, so that's why I like the Targum sometimes. They mention Yahusha a little bit more. Okay. And it shall be whenever the cloud overshadows the tabernacle a number of days, they shall encamp by the word of Yahuwah, and shall remove by the commandment of Yahuwah. And it shall come to pass, whenever the cloud shall remain from evening till morning, and in the morning the cloud shall go up, then shall they remove by day or by night. When the cloud continues a full month, overshadowing the tabernacle, the children of Yashar'al shall encamp and shall not depart. Okay. For they shall depart by the commandment of Yahuwah. They kept the charge of Yahuwah by the commandment of Yahuwah, by the hand of Masha. Okay, so pretty much the same thing. The only difference is it says word of Yahuwah in the Targum versus commandment in the Septuagint. So that's only the main difference there. Now I want to go back really quick before we go to chapter 10. I want to go to the verse in Numbers 9 where it talks about the bitter herbs, and show you guys that I'm not making this up. So we're going to go with a parallel here. We'll use, let's let's see, the only Septuagint I have was Strong's. Key to the Strong's would be the ABP plus. And let's do King James plus for the Masoretic. Okay, now we're going to look at the verse that talks about with bitter herbs. Okay, according to its season, 14th day of the month, evening, laws, and this one, 14th day. Let's see here.
What?
And unclean by reason of dead body. Unclean by a dead body. Okay. Hey, Mom, what verse is it that it talks about? That we just read in this chapter that talks about the bitter
Bitter herbs.
where the herbs are added there. Yeah.
1 second.
Okay.
It is.
Verse 11.
Yes.
Thank you, Sister Abigail. Thank you.
Very end
Alright.
of verse 11 in
Yeah.
mine.
So I'm just going to show you guys here. When you get to unleavened bread, you have it here, and then bitterness. The Greek for that would be G4 Ikria. Wow, it's the same word for gall. That's interesting. Extreme. Wow, bitter root, bitter fruit. So this to me would be a spiritual
I'm
bitterness.
popping it up with my foot, right? And she starts
Like-
popping it up.
It's almost talking about like a bitterness, like eating your bread in bitterness. From what I'm looking at the Greek here, poison, literally or figuratively, bitterness.
Interesting.
So if you think about it too, I think in the Hebrew here, it's maror. Okay, so the Hebrew apparent equivalent to this Greek word is maror, which means bitterness. Now, where they're getting bitter herb from is the root word, not the word that's being used, but the root word marar, which is a completely different Strong's number. So what happens is they're probably taking the root word and adding herbs in there. But you notice the King James is even telling you it's not in the text. That's why it's whited out there. So herbs is actually not part of that word. So anyway, so just thought I would mention that. For what it's worth, it doesn't seem like the actual bitter salad greens or bitter herbs. However, we've kept Passover in years prior. There's no actual commandment here. It seems like that would indicate that we have to eat bitter herbs with our Passover lamb. Even the ancient Hebrew lexicon here, using the same definitions from the Strong's bitterness. Yeah, so it's talking about eating unleavened bread with the Passover lamb in bitterness. Which could be referring to, humbling yourself, annoying yourself while you're eating the unleavened bread. Very possible. So that's kind of my take on that. But anyway, moving on to chapter 10 of Numbers. So we're going to move on here. So I just wanted to show that just so you guys know I'm not making anything up here. All right. So
Thank you, brother.
you're welcome. No problem. No problem. I always want to have a defense for whatever I preach or believe. So it's always good to check ourselves. Let's see here. Numbers chapter 10. Oh, one of my favorite chapters here in Numbers. Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, make yourself 2 silver trumpets. You shall make them of beaten work. They shall be to you for the purpose of calling the assembly and removing of camps. You shall sound with them, and all the congregation shall be gathered to the door of the tabernacle of witness. And if they shall sound with one, all the rulers, even the princes of Israel, shall come to you, and you shall sound an alarm, and the camps pitched eastward shall begin to move, and you shall sound a second alarm. The camps pitched southward shall move. You shall sound a third alarm, and the camps pitched westward shall move forward. And you shall sound a fourth alarm, and they that encamp toward the north shall move forward. They shall sound an alarm at their departure, and whenever you shall gather the assembly, you shall sound, but not an alarm. And the priests, the sons of Aaron, shall sound with the trumpets, and it shall be a perpetual ordinance for you throughout your generations. And after we read this full chapter, I'm going to go into why it's not only for the sons of Aaron. I got multiple scriptures written down on my notebook here that shows all of Israel is supposed to be blowing trumpets. Okay, so shall be perpetual ordinance for you throughout your generations, and if you shall go forth to war in your land against your enemies that are opposed to you, then shall you sound with the trumpets. You shall be handed in remembrance before Yahuwah, and you shall be saved from your enemies. And in the days of your gladness, and in your feasts, and in your new moons, you shall sound with the trumpets at your whole burnt offerings, and at the sacrifices of your peace offerings, and there shall be a memorial for you before your Elohim. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. And it came to pass in the second year. Okay, whoops. I don't know why I backtracked there. I was at verse 11 here. Okay, let me just bear with me, guys. I got to scroll down here. Okay. And it came to pass in the second year, in the second month, on the 20th day of the month, the cloud went up from the tabernacle of witness, and the children of Yasharal set forward with their baggage in the wilderness of Sinai. And the cloud rested in the wilderness of Paran. And the first rank departed by the word of Yahuwah, by the hand of Moshe. Very interesting. Okay, so, and they first set in motion the order of the camp of the children of Yehuda with their army. Over their army was Nasan, son of Aminadab, and over the army of the tribe of the sons of Issachar, Nathanael, son of Sugar, and over the army of the tribe of the sons of Zebulun, Eliab, the son of Chelon. And they shall take down the tabernacle. The sons of Gershon shall set forward, and the sons of Merari, who bear the tabernacle. And the order of the camp of Reuben set forward with their army, and over their army Eliezer, the son of Shadur, and over the army of the tribe of the sons of Simeon, Salamiel, son of Seri Shaddai. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Gad, Eliasaph, the son of Raguel. And the sons of Kahath set forward, bearing the set apart things, and shall set up the tabernacle until they arrive. And the order of the camp of Ephraim shall set forward with their forces, and over their forces was Eliashama, son of Amihud, and over the forces of the tribes of the sons of Manasseh was Gamliel, the son of Fadazur, and over the forces of the tribe of the children of Benjamin was Abidan, son of Gadioni. And the order of the camp of the sons of Dan shall set forward, the last of all the camps with their forces, and over their forces Achiezer of Ammishaddai, and over the forces of the tribe of the sons of Asher, Phagiel, the son of Ekron, and over the forces of the tribe of the sons of Naphtali, Akir, the son of Anan. These, the armies of the children of Yasharal, and they set forward with their forces. And Moshe said to Obab, the son of Raguel, the Midianite, the father in the law of Moshe, we are going forward to the place concerning which Yahuwah said, this I will give to you, come with us, we will do you Tob, for Yahuwah has spoken Tob concerning Yasharal. Okay, and he said to him, I will not go, but to my land and to my kindred. And he said, leave us not, because you have been with us in the wilderness, and you shall be an elder among us. And it shall come to pass, if you will go with us, it shall even come to pass that in whatsoever things Yahuwah shall do us Tob, we will also do you Tob. And they departed from the mountain of Yahuwah 3 days' journey, and the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah went before them a 3 days' journey to provide rest for them. And the cloud overshadowed them by day, when they departed from the camp. And it came to pass when the ark set forward that Moshe said, Arise, O Yahuwah, and let your enemies be scattered. Let all that hate you flee. Okay, so interesting. All that hate you. So the Septuagint gives you like the definition of the transliteration. It's interesting. So, and in the resting, he said, Turn again, O Yahuwah, the thousands and 10,000s in Yasharal. Okay, so that is the end of, what is that, chapter 10. So now we're going to 11. And the people murmured sinfully before Yahuwah, and Yahuwah heard them and was very angry, and fire was kindled among them from Yahuwah and devoured a part of the camp. And the people cried to Moshe, and Moshe prayed to Yahuwah, and fire was quenched, and the name of that place was called Burning, for fire was kindled among them from Yahuwah. And the mixed multitude among them lusted exceedingly, and they and the children of Yashar all sat down and wept and said, Who shall give us flesh to eat? We remember the fish which we ate in Egypt freely, and the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the garlic and the onions. This kind of reminds me of, like, in our day, it would be like Yahuwah coming back, and he's bringing us in the second Exodus. The greater Exodus. Some of us are going to be saying, oh, where's my Burger King? Where's my Wendy's? You know, I was well off back in Egypt, there in America, you know, eating my favorite foods, my Subway.
You're gonna have to do better than that, Douglas.
So anyway, just something to think about all of our how we're used to all this luxury here. But now our soul is dried up, our eyes turn to nothing but to the manna. And manna is a coriander seed, appearance of it like the appearance of hoar frost. And the people went through the field and gathered it and ground it in the mill or pounded it in a mortar and baked it in a pan and made cakes of it. And sweetness of it was like the taste of a wafer with oil. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, I could deal with that.
And when the dew came up the camp by night, the manna came down upon it. And Moshe heard them weeping by their families, everyone in his door. And Yahuwah was very angry, and the thing was evil in the sight of Moshe. Okay. And Moshe said to Yahuwah, Why have you afflicted your servant, and why have I not found favor in your sight, that you should lay the weight of this people upon me? Have I conceived all this people? Have I borne them, that you should say to me, Take them into your bosom, as a nurse would take her suckling into the land which you swore to their fathers? Where have I flesh to give to all these people? For they weep to me, saying, Give us flesh that we may eat. I shall not be able to bear this people alone, for this thing is too heavy for me. And if you do thus to me, slay me utterly, meaning put me out of my misery. If I have found favor with you, that I may not see my affliction. I like how the Unkalo says wretchedness. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, Gather me 70 men from the elders of Yasharal, whom you yourself know that they are the elders of the people, and their scribes, and you shall bring them to the tabernacle witness, and they shall stand there with you. And I will go and speak there with you, and I will take of the spirit that is upon you, and I will put it upon them. They shall bear together with you the burden of the people, and you shall not bear them alone. And to the people you shall say, Purify yourselves for tomorrow, and you shall eat flesh, for you wept before Yahuwah, saying, Who shall give us flesh to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt. Yahuwah shall allow you to eat flesh, and you shall eat flesh. You shall not eat 1 day, nor 2, nor 5 days, nor 10 days, nor 20 days. You shall eat for a full month, until the flesh come out of your nostrils. And it shall be nausea to you, because you disobeyed Yahuwah, who is among you, and wept before him, saying, What had we to do to come out of Egypt? And Moshe said, The people among whom I am are 600,000 footmen, and you said, I will give them flesh to eat, and they shall eat a whole month. Shall sheep and oxen be slain for them, and shall it suffice them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them, and shall it suffice them? And Yahuwah said to Moshe, now this is a really interesting verse. I'm going to take a note of this for future study about showing Messiah in the Old Testament here. Okay, so this is verse 23 of Numbers 11, which says, Yahuwah said to Moshe, shall not the hand of Yahuwah be fully sufficient? What I find interesting is that if you look at the Targums, they paraphrase Al Shaddai as the all-sufficient one. So I find it very interesting, the hand of Yahuwah in the Septuagint's being called fully sufficient. Shall not the hand of Yahuwah be fully sufficient? Now shall you know whether my word shall come to pass to you or not. And the Onkelos paraphrases it as is the word of Yahuwah. So paraphrases the hand of Yahuwah as the word of Yahuwah restrained. Now shall you see whether my saying come to pass with you or not. So just found that interesting, but we'll move on here. Okay. All right. And Moshe went out and spoke the words of Yahuwah to the people, and he gathered 70 men of the elders of the people, and he set them round about the tabernacle. And Yahuwah came down in a cloud and spoke to him, and took out the spirit that was upon him and put it upon 70 men that were elders. And when the spirit rested upon them, they prophesied and ceased. And there were 2 men left in the camp. The name of one was Eldad, and the name of the other was Modad. The spirit rested upon them, and these were the number of them that were enrolled, but they did not come to the tabernacle, and they prophesied in the camp. And a young man ran and told Moshe and spoke, saying, Eldad and Modad prophesy in the camp. And Yahushua, son of Nun, who attended on Moshe, the chosen one, said, Master Moshe, forbid them. I find it interesting he's called the chosen one. I find it interesting because that's usually a messianic title or phrase. So interesting. A little foreshadowing to Yahushua Messiah here from Yahushua, son of Nun. So I might write that down, the chosen one, the Septuagint has for verse 28. So, all right. And Moshe said to him, are you jealous on my account? Would that all Yahuwah's people were prophets whenever Yahuwah shall put his spirit upon them. That kind of reminds me of how Paul talks about you should be earnestly seeking the gift of prophecy rather than tongues. And Moshe departed into the camp himself and the elders of Yasher all. And there went forth a wind from Yahuwah and brought quails over the sea. And it brought them down upon the camp a day's journey on this side and a day's journey on that side, around about the camp, as it were 2 cubits from the north. 2 cubits from the earth, my bad. Okay. And the people rose up all the day, all the night, and all the next day, and gathered quails. He that gathered least gathered 10 measures, and they refreshed themselves round about the camp. The flesh was yet between their teeth before it failed, when Yahuwah was angry with the people, and Yahuwah smote the people with a very great plague. And the name of that place was called the Graves of Lust. So the meaning of, what is it called? What does it say in yours, Mom? It gives you a transliteration,
Graves of
right?
craving.
Craving? Okay.
That's a little weaker than lust.
Yeah, so they're basically lusting after meat, which is kind of funny because we have this debate in the body of Messiah right now, if and especially I think it's more promoted in Christianity with Paul's letters. They try to use Paul's letters to say that we don't need to worry about food sacrificed to idols and all that. So I find it kind of funny that back then Yahuwah is punishing these people for lusting after meat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, you know, nothing changes, nothing new under the sun here. So they're lusting after the meat of Egypt after, the flesh of Egypt here. Okay. The people departed from the graves of lust to Ashtaroth. And the people halted at Ashtaroth. Yeah, so Ashtaroth was actually a place named after this false deity, this false goddess. That if you do a little bit of studying through history, you find out she's the consort of Baal, and which would go back to Nimrod and his wife Semiramis. So anyway, so just thought I would mention that. Okay, so Numbers chapter 12. Here we go. So, and Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moshe because of the Ethiopian woman whom Moshe took, for he had taken an Ethiopian woman. Here we go. Prejudice already. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, she's a Hamite. All right. So anyway. And they said, has Yahuwah spoken to Moshe only? Has he not also spoken to us? And Yahuwah heard it. And the man, Moshe, was very meek beyond all men that were upon the earth. And Yahuwah said immediately to Moshe and Aaron and Miriam, come forth, all three of you, to the tabernacle of witness. And the three came forth to the tabernacle of witness, and Yahuwah descended in a pillar of a cloud and stood at the door of the tabernacle of witness. And Aaron and Miriam were called, and both came forth. And he said to them, hear my words. If there should be of you a prophet to Yahuwah, I will be made known to him in a vision. In sleep will I speak to him. My servant Moshe is not so. He is trustworthy in all my house. I will speak to him mouth to mouth, apparently, and not in dark speeches. And he has seen the esteem of Yahuwah. And why were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moshe? And the great anger, not just displeasure, great anger of Yahuwah was upon them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam was leprous as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And just to put in perspective, white as snow. So this is not referring to Caucasians here, okay? This is literally white as snow.
It's like albino almost.
Like if you look at a page of computer paper, that's leprosy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's white as snow, okay? So I think that's important to take in context, because people that have certain biases have tried to make that look like being Caucasian is a skin disease or something, which is ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. And Aaron said to Moshe, I beseech you, my master, do not lay sin upon us, for we were ignorant wherein we sinned. Okay. Let her not be, as it were, like death, as an abortion coming out of her mother's womb. Interesting. The Septuagint says abortion.
Mine says stillborn.
So that's interesting.
It's very different from abortion.
Yeah, the Masoretic kind of changes it a little bit. Yeah, I see that. And even the Targum changed it a little bit. It's separated from Lenus for, or no, actually the Targum paraphrases it. Let not this one I treat be separated from Lenus, for she is our sister. Pray now over this dead flesh which is in her, that she may be healed. So they take a more definition approach, where it's not talking about stillborn abortion, but specifically talking about Miriam. That's interesting. And Moshe cried to Yahuwah, saying, O Alua, I beseech you, make her whole. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, if her father had only spit in her face, would she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be set apart. Let her be set apart 7 days without the camp, meaning outside the camp, and afterwards she shall come in. Now, this is a concept that might be foreign to some people, but basically Yahuwah is pulling back from his other commands, where he's actually basically talking about the commands where if a brother fails to take his dead brother's wife, when a brother dies, it's the brother's obligation to marry the wife of his deceased brother. And if he doesn't, he chooses not to raise up seed to his brother, he's supposed to be spit in the face and all that. And we're going to read that later on in the book of Ruth. So anyway, so I just thought I would mention that. Okay, I got you. All right. And afterwards, the people stepped forth from Asheroth and encamped in the wilderness of Paran. Okay, so that's the end of our numbers portion here. Okay, so very interesting. And it's interesting to note, I've written on my notebook here in the Masoretic for Ethiopia, that would be Cush. And so the reason we know that goes from Ham is because Ham begot Cush, Cush begot Nimrod in Genesis chapter 10. So we know for a fact Moses, one of Masha's wives, this particular wife here, was a Cushite woman. She was actually not from the ethnicity of the Israelites. And notice how Yahuwah is not, he's not considering that sin. Okay, he's not considering that a sin for Masha to marry a Gentile-born woman, because she's a convert. Obviously, she's part of Yasharal. She's grafted in. So we see this grafted in concept even as early as the original Exodus, and even in Numbers here, where there's certain people that are considered part of Yasharal who are not ethnic Hebrews. Okay, so they're not ethnic Shemites like Masha's wife here. So okay, so we're gonna move on here. Let's see here. Now I think we got Zechariah next. Okay. So all right, so let's see here. Today's Haftarah reading. Okay, so we just did the numbers. Yeah, I'll be doing Zechariah chapter 2 to chapter 4 next. Let me just start a new recording. That way these recordings are not too long. So I'll be right back on the Facebook Live. And I'll do a new cloud recording too. So we'll be back very shortly in the next minute or two. So please stay tuned. Shalom.